Good evening, UC Bearcat fans. It's UC Bearcats on the Prowl. We are excited to cover that first game they played against Nebraska and to talk a little bit again about the next game against Bowling Green. So, Mark, how did those Bearcats do?
Well, they lost 20-17, in what was supposed to be a home game, right? I would say probably 95% of the fans there were Nebraska fans, but is what it is. That's what happens when your athletic director decides to go for the money instead of playing the home game where it's supposed to be. But oh well. So yeah, they lost 20-17 to Nebraska. It was a decent game, boring at times, to be quite honest. But it is what it is. Got the first game out of the way. Now we turn our attention to the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, you got to like some of it. Obviously, they started out well, 3-0. The second and the third quarter weren't exactly great, but
Hmm.
it was a close game. Yeah, you had some good stuff. You had Evan Pryor with a nice run. You had,
Hmm.
Tawee Walker with a couple of nice runs. So, I mean, it started out pretty good. You got the 45-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there were some good things there. Obviously, running the
There
ball
was.
202 versus 110. So, I mean, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I think you're right. There are some good things to take away. The running game looked good. Brendan Sorsby is a genuine threat back there at quarterback to run.
to run. Thank you. I was waiting for that part because if you were going to say he's a threat as a
Yeah.
quarterback, I'm going to argue that point.
I had to qualify that, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, if you
No,
said he's a good
he's a threat.
Wildcat quarterback, yeah, sure. If you
Yeah.
think he's an actual
Yeah.
quarterback, no, no, not really.
Well, I would have to say that the what was he? He ended up like 13 of let me see here. I got it. Hold on, I got to get to it. He was 13 of 25
Mhm.
for 69
9
yards.
yards.
I
That's the
mean,
problem. Yeah, and I believe the majority of them came on that last drive.
yes. So my question is, how much of that is play calling and design, and how
Yep.
much of that is Brendan Sorsby really struggled,
And I was going to
and
say, I'm going to say this for the optimist in me. How much of that is Nebraska just has really great defensive backs?
they do. Nebraska has a good defense. They're trying to bring the black shirts back from the late 80s, early 90s. If you're probably too young to remember that. Uh, but they were really big on their defense wore black jerseys in practice and they called themselves the black shirts and it was skulls and crossbones and all this stuff because their defense was so good. They've been trying to get back to that. And just from reading different things with the Big Ten, and it seems like they're getting there. They made life tough for Brendan Sorsby and for UC
Mhm.
in general. But I the last play, the interception, I
Yes,
think that is everything that is wrong with UC's play calling and Brendan Sorsby's decision making and Brendan Sorsby's ability as a quarterback. Let's look at that play. We are well within field goal range
yes,
with 40 seconds left, I think is what it was, 45-ish seconds or something, may have been
exactly.
less. Well within field goal range.
Hmm.
So I say the coaching decision, not a terrible decision, but your quarterback has to be coached that one of two things is going to happen, a touchdown or an incompletion. You
Exactly.
can't leave that throw short at
Exactly. You
all.
got to throw
I
it
mean,
over.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I agree.
Yes, you put it in one place for your guy to catch it. That ball, and if I remember right, it was the right third of the end zone, if I remember correctly.
Yes, correct.
That needs to be in that corner. That
Mhm.
needs to be in that back corner. And as much as I hate the fade as a route, that needed to be a fade. But instead, he tried to put it perfectly on him, and he got burned.
The thing I find really
So,
interesting is the play prior to that. Malcolm Hartzog
mm,
Jr. gets a pass or no defensive holding. I keep
mhm.
wanting to say pass interference, but it was defensive holding.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so he needed a big play to atone for that. And well, he definitely made that
Hmm.
big play.
He did. He made the big play. So it's frustrating. There's positives to take away. The running game looked good. If you go to the stats, what you said, 202 yards to Nebraska having 113, basically. I think they lost some from a sack, whatever.
Yeah, it's a loss.
Um, that's that's good. Especially against Nebraska, who is focusing on defense and I will say this, in a hostile environment,
Mhm.
doing that. I think that's good. The problem is you can't have your starting quarterback in Division I, Big 12, completing 13 passes for 69 yards and expect to win a game.
Wow.
And again, how much of that was design? How much of that was Nebraska's defense? How much of that was just Brendan Sorsby's ability as a quarterback?
Exactly. And then the other part about it was the two turnovers. If you don't win the turnover battle, I mean, Sorsby threw a pick, and then there was a fumble
Mhm.
where you're like, well, Nebraska
Yep,
fumbled twice, but they were able to get the dang ball back both times.
they
So,
recovered it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you can't lose. You can't lose. And again, I'm going to say hostile environment. This was an away game.
It was an away game.
Um, yeah, we get the home payout or whatever it was, but this was an away game. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win in a hostile environment.
Like we were
So,
saying,
got to clean some things up. Have some things to work on.
so in my opinion, though, the defense, which did great, they really only gave up, you know,
Yeah, I mean, the defense played well.
yeah.
They played well enough to hold uh, what Patrick Mahomes Jr. and Nebraska's offense to 20 points, and
Yeah,
and
so
they
that's
did
pretty
well
good.
enough to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, and I joke about Dominic Raiola, but I mean, kid was a 4-star or 5-star coming out of high school, committed to Ohio State, and then realized, well, crap, I'm never going to play here. So, and that's when he transferred. So kid is good.
Mhm.
It's just he, he did enough to win the game. I mean, 243 receiving yards for them. So he threw for 243. He only had 9 incompletions. That's where you see the difference between him and Sorsby. Sorsby completed what, less than 50%?
Mhm.
My I know right at almost 50%. My Oak Hills math isn't doing great here.
The big difference is Nebraska was able to move the chains.
Right. Right. I mean, he threw for 243 yards. That is like 4 times what Sorsby threw for. So it doesn't matter completion percentage. It matters he moved the ball down the field. And that's great that we ran for so much, but as far as I don't know if I have like total first downs on here. Let me see. No, I don't. But I mean, I'm sure there's a disparity, in total first downs.
There
I'm
was a
sure
massive
Nebraska had more.
disparity. You're correct.
I
Yeah, I was
mean,
going to say we had about as many as they did running the ball, but when it came to passing, I think we had like two or three, and they
yeah.
had like 13. They had a
Yeah. Oh,
substantially
and hey,
more.
speaking of passing, is it? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just agreeing with you that they had substantially more first downs in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of passing and in the air, has anybody seen Joe Royer yet? Has
Oh
he?
yeah, good point. Yeah, we forgot all about him because
Yeah.
the Bearcats forgot about him. Yeah, 11 yards, three completions, one big play of 6 yards.
I
Yeah,
mean, and again, that 6-yard play was designed, that was a design shorter range pass to hope that he gets loose, but he couldn't get loose. I mean, so
so it seems
we
like they
bang
were
on.
queuing in on him.
Yes.
Nebraska had great defensive backs,
Yep.
and then for some reason, okay, so was it that Sorsby was had that many designed run plays, or was it that he was trying to pass and he had to run because of it?
Or was he panicking?
Yes, I feel that's kind
You
of
know,
what
get
would happen
get back in the
because I
pocket and panic.
doubt
Yeah.
they were going to plan 13 runs for him and only 12 for the two running backs combined.
Dead on, dead on. He dropped back. And his and I would love to watch it again just to see, kind of with the critical eye. But it almost seemed like he looked at his first option, maybe his second option, then he just ran. I don't think, I mean, how many times did he run? You said 11
13.
times? Let me see.
13.
13 times. So the 13 times that he ran the ball, I'm going to guess that maybe a third of those, maybe four of them were designed runs just by looking at how he was back in the pocket. Um, Last year, he seemed, I don't know if this is the best term for it. Last year, he seemed almost more poised in the pocket
Yes.
than he did on Thursday. Thursday, it was three-step drop back, three-step drop, five-step drop, look, run.
Yep.
Where he may not have had to, he may have actually had the time to find that third option or that fourth option. And that a lot of times, James, last year, if you remember, is when Royer did a lot of his damage, was
Exactly.
when Sorsby stayed in the pocket and was patient and found him cutting across the middle or found him bringing that little hook in and being
Mhm.
able to hit him, and then, an 11-yard comeback or an 11-yard hook is a first down.
Exactly.
You have to watch for that. You have to be patient enough to get to it. And I honestly think he panicked. I don't think it was because of the offensive line. I thought the offensive line did fine. Um, but what I wonder is, was the moment too big for him? So
It's a possibility. I was
yeah.
going to say it was him going back and playing against Big Ten competition. So that could have factored in. Like you said, the atmosphere of the crowd definitely was not a help to him. But what was a help was Jake Goldie. Goldie had three
Hmm.
sacks. I mean, he looked like a beast. Jonathan
Yep.
Thompson looked good. Brian Sims looked good.
Hmm.
They were putting pressure on
Yeah, they were.
Nebraska.
They were getting good pressure. Now, I will say this. It's funny. So, my son Cade started at UC last week, and he has been one of the benefits of going to college, right, is free time. And he has been spending his free time in the gym and joking around like, "Hey, Dad, I may try to walk on next year for the football team." I'm like, "Well, if you do, try a linebacker because they need
Yeah.
help." So, I thought the defensive ends, I thought the defensive interior, I thought the DBs played well. I thought at times the linebackers disappeared a little bit. I think maybe they were allowing themselves to get blocked, which is one of my pet peeves, having played linebacker, is watching linebackers get blocked and giving up easy. So,
So, how do we feel about this upcoming week? I was just
yeah.
in Bowling Green, but I was in the wrong
Mhm.
Bowling Green, by the way, because
You're
I
in
was down.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I was down in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is a different time zone. Just throwing that out there, just so
Yeah.
people know ahead of time. Because I got down there and all of a sudden my watch changed, and I'm like, "What the heck?"
Oh no.
Yeah, stopped working. I was fortunately my brother-in-law's GPS worked, but mine did not.
No,
So
no.
yeah, I was all worried, and like I said, the time zone had changed. It was just crazy. Well, we got that game
That's funny.
this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Going to be at Nippert
Yep.
Stadium. Does
Yeah.
Bowling Green beating Lafayette 26-7 mean anything, or do we even care about that?
Um, Honestly, I don't think we care about that, but I will say this: it did mean something to them because it was Eddie George's first win as their coach. So they brought him in because he was like at Tennessee State, I think
Yep.
maybe. Um, they brought him in to bring some energy to the program, and he has. You could see that on display on their game. I think their game was Saturday, if I remember correctly. I remember watching it. So it was there was good energy there. Other than that, this is one that UC should win. I mean, if you look at the spread, it's a 21.5 point favorite for UC. The matchup predictor on ESPN has 88% UC win, 12% Bowling Green win. Um, and I'm saying all this to say I think this is a good chance for the Bearcats to get back to where they need to be, back on schedule, as far as what the offense does, as far as what the defense does.
Exactly. They have 2 weeks in a row where they should be
Hmm.
able to focus on themselves, not really worry
Hmm.
about the other team, worry about what they need to get right,
Yeah.
worry about, doing things like getting Royer open,
Hmm.
running the ball with the two running backs. different things like that that they need to
Yeah.
focus on.
Yeah. I mean,
If they
this
do
is
those things, they'll be fine.
right. This is a really good chance for Sorsby to prove that he is the quarterback he was last year, not the quarterback he was last week. Um, I think he has an opportunity to stand back in that pocket, read through his progressions, and you can do that in practice, but it's not the same as the game, obviously, right? The Nebraska game, practice is not the same speed as the game. So Bowling Green and Northwestern State also, the week after, yeah, they're softer, but they're still college athletes. They're going to be giving their all. They're still going to give you probably a better look than you get against your scout team in practice.
So, what are you saying the score is?
Oh, I'd love to see like 35 to 14 UC, maybe 28 to 7, something in that range. I think they're going to hit right at that 21. I don't know that they're going to get the 21 and a half that ESPN's giving them, the bookies are giving, but hey, I don't bet, so it doesn't matter. I think, somewhere in there, I'll go 35 to 14.
That sounds about right. I mean, if we're able to shut down Nebraska on
Mhm.
with their offense, we should be able to do pretty similar with Bowling
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bowling Green in their last game, I believe, let me see, they were just real quick. I'm not going to go super in depth, but
26-7.
yeah, it was 26 to 7. And I mean, it was a somewhat balanced attack. They passed for 109 yards, they rushed for 158. So, it was just, they had a couple big plays here and there, but really they played Lafayette. So,
Exactly.
they didn't have to do much to win that way. So we'll see.
Excellent. Well, any final thoughts, Mark?
I would love to sit here and preach patience, but in year three of Scott Satterfield, patience is gonna run short real quick. They need to win a couple games here, and then the big thing to focus on is in 2 weeks when they play Kansas. We really need to see something happen there.
Exactly. That's the game that really matters. Because I
Yeah.
mean, if they don't win either of these, or if they would lose one of these games, we can just get rid of them right then and there.
Yeah, I would say he would be carried out from the stadium on like a stick, like
Yes,
just get him out of there. So,
exactly. Run them out on a rail.
yeah.
So for James Earth
Yep.
and Mark Fightmaster, this has been UC Bearcats on the Prowl. Thank you all for joining us.